I'm still on the journey, you know what I mean? That's where it started, and it's still in motion, you know what I mean? So I try not to spend a whole lot of time looking back. I just kind of try to spend time concentrating on where I am at the moment. Now, of course, I'm always connected to that, and there's more stuff to do. I'm going to go on tour with Alice and from August to October, right after we finish this. 4 days after we get done with this, I'm in rehearsals for Alice. So, you know, I guess the thing that means the most is I took that trip with my brothers, and we all banded together, and we found each other somehow, and we were supposed to find each other, and we have a sound that is unlike anybody else, and that's the whole point of trying to create some sort of a sound that's uniquely yours. And I was able to find that with my family there, you know, with Lane and Mike and Sean, and you know, throughout the years of changes and things that life throws at you, we've continued on and continue to navigate all of those changes and continue to grow, and you know, up to the last record. And I think that record's kick ass. You know what I mean? I think we're still creating at a top level. You know, Inez and William coming into the band. It's all good. I guess the main thing probably is that it still means something to people. You know, we play some of those songs on our set as well, and it's always exciting and trippy, man, to see people react when you start play those songs. They're not just yours anymore. They're everybody's, and I don't mean that in just some generic way. It's like they have just as much ownership in it as I do. So it's pretty cool, you know, to share those moments.
Last question: is it what was for you the song, or maybe the session that you actually felt now we have our sound in this first incarnation of the band?
Probably some songs we never released, you know, pre-facelift. You know, there was a few there that you know, that probably was kind of turned the corner from, like Tyler said, we're of that same generation of the '80s. So, you know, there's a lot of those bands, you know, that I really dug, you know, like, but maybe, you know, maybe we're not quite where we ended up, but that's the point. You get inspired by other people and emulate other people, and then at some point you start doing your own thing, and then one day you look at each other and like, fuck, man, what the fuck? This is pretty cool. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden you've got a sound, and so you just keep going. You know, once you find it and you're all together on that, you know when it happens. You know what I mean? I don't know if I could tell you the tune, but it was definitely pre-facelift. You know, when we started to really come into focus as a band. We formed in December of '87, and Facelift came out in '90. So for a band to develop within like 2 years, you know, basically from nothing to that record, was, you know, there was light years of movement, and we rehearsed all the time. Lane and I lived in our rehearsal room. We lived in a place called the Music Bank underneath the Ballard Bridge, and he and I would do an 8-hour shift of running the keys, letting bands into their room, and then closing them up when they brought gear back from gigs and shit like that. But it was open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with like 40 fucking rehearsal rooms, man. So it was like constantly something going on, you know, a party, bands coming in. There was always somebody rehearsing, and it was just that environment. You know, it was like, that was our day, and then night we'd be going to the clubs to either see our favorite bands, or, you know, go see Green River or Mudhoney or Soundgarden or whatever, or Mother Love Bone, you know, and we'd all be at each other's little club gigs. We just come, you know, we're doing all these gigs. It all happened pretty quick if you really think about it, you know, and then it just kind of continued from there. It just kind of exploded, you know.
What was it for you to be part of it?
Feels great, you know. Yeah. I'm not ashamed of it.
No, but I mean, it could be that maybe sometimes.
You know, anytime you feel like, you know, I think life's pretty fucking confusing and overwhelming, just in general for everybody, and that's me included. And like, one of the things that's always made sense, no matter what the fuck is going on chaotically in the world, inside you or in your family or surroundings, is music. You know, it's always been there for me, and so it's always been a refuge. It's always been a place to communicate that shit, you know, and or maybe process it. Maybe that's a better word. Process it, you know, and distill it into something that's alive, you know, and maybe has all of those emotions in it. And I think that's part of the reason that we sound the way that we do, is just the 4 points of the distillery that all these ideas and emotions have to drip through to get into being whatever Alice in Chains is, you know.